Authority, Adam Savage at Propstore in London at the mothership with Stephen Lane. And there's no need for an introduction. This is a freaking TaunTaun.
It's a TaunTaun, yeah.
Tell me about this TaunTaun.
It's a really interesting piece, fascinating piece this. So we're looking at a couple of different things here. So let's just start with the overall form of it. So this is actually a cast out of the original mould that was saved by a guy in the UK called Robert Alsop. He works within the industry. He had access to the mould way back in the day.
The original mould?
The original mould, the freeborn moulds.
From Empire.
That's it, absolutely.
Wow.
So what you have here is a cast from that mould which sort of became the sort of main structure for it. Some of it has been added, some of the detail was missing. I think that maybe the horns were resculpted. And then sitting in front of that is one of two last known surviving original freeborn appliances, I suppose, at the end of the day, the creature of the TaunTaun itself. So this would have been mounted onto one of the fully animatronic, full-scale units that was filmed on. I mean, it's just an astonishing thing to have survived. So
this is when you see Han Solo close up at the very beginning of Empire, and the TaunTaun is complaining and blowing steam out of its nose. It could be this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you've got all the hand-painted eyes here, the details with it. And the strapping here is, this is all original as well. Wow. And it actually ended up, I believe, in Planet Hollywood for decades, and it just sat there and ended up, I think it was on display for a short period of time, then maybe ended up just in their storage facility, and then sort of languished there. And it has had some sympathetic restoration undertaken to it. You can imagine for an appliance of this age, it needs some stabilization, needs some support, and needs some TLC.
And again, when you say appliance, the material of this face is a foam, yeah?
Yes, yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe appliance may or may not be the correct terminology for it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's sort of the creature head, if you want, but what we're left with is what would be the makeup, I suppose, the appliance for the animatronic, isn't it? Yeah. So, that's what survived.
I think people don't realize that these things built for films are often way less durable than even a cheap Halloween mask, rubber mask you'd buy at the store.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. And in a lot of instances, the materials that have been used are just the solution for speed and efficiency and budget.
And getting the shot.
Getting the shot, that's it. And once it's in the can, that's it. That's done. It's just a byproduct. And, you know, the technicians who built this don't care whether it lasts for, 5 minutes past that point, let alone 20, 30, 40 years past that point. And that's where it comes down to us as the custodians to really take care of these things.
Well, one of the things that you have that serves your business is an eye for discerning the legitimacy of an object, right? You are constantly having to assess and learn and research. And I walked in and I look at this and I thought, there was no question. This is a TaunTaun. This is hero. Like this instant I looked at it, I just knew that it was right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just got that essence to it. It's got that feel to it. Stuart Freeborn's work was just, outstanding. And of course, he's highly revered for everything that he did in the whole series of films.
Yoda and the Wookiee and Moonwatcher from 2001.
2001, yeah, absolutely.
This is the very first time I have seen a Freeborn piece up close. And I'm thrilled by it. I didn't notice the tears of the TaunTaun, the liquid that would gather in the eyes. And I'm sure there was all sorts of research about beasts of burden from all over the world. They probably looked at cows and donkeys and horses and everything to figure out, oh, those eyes.
They're brilliant, aren't they? Just brings it to life. I mean, it's great that the eyes have survived as well like that, to be with it still after so many years. And you can see actually a little bit of the sort of dental acrylic that was used very, very heavily during this period. And I think it is probably still today to a degree.
Yeah.
Because it works so well for forming these sort of really sort of high definition elements that have to be sort of functional for a lot of occasions as well. A lot of the interior of Yoda is made up of dental acrylic as well. Right. So for those mechs, as well as the machined aluminium.
Is there still some mechanism behind some of the pieces in here, or is it mostly just the appliance and then the underskull?
Yeah, I think we're just really looking at the appliance now, the underskull that goes with it, the supporting structure for it, then a little bit of the dressing as well. Unfortunately, all the mechanics are long since lost. And again, that was standard practice within the industry at that time, and is still today. Those mechanisms that are custom built for this are so valuable because they take so long for them to make for each shot and for each movie. They're the first things that get stripped out again as soon as the film's locked.
It is an incredible luck that you have the original mold. There's no better way to display this appliance than with this skull.
No, it's very true, actually. And it was a long journey for me with Robert Alsop back in the day, because I was actually instrumental in assisting this. So this has been owned by 2 different collectors, maybe 3 different collectors over the last few years since this was done. But going back 15 years ago, I found out that Robert actually had the original molds, and I got him to take a cast and make one for me. So I have one on the wall in my office.
Oh, that's
and there
awesome.
it is. I mean, it's just like a TaunTaun bust up on the wall there. Then this came up for sale, and I was chatting with the guys who were involved with buying it, and I was just like, well, you know, and Tom Spina, of course, got involved, and then he assisted with
I
all
was
the dressing.
wondering, did he do some restoration
Absolutely,
or some preservation on this?
Tom's work is just exceptional, and he was the person that brought everything together to make this happen. But, you know, on one hand, you know, it's born out of a relationship with a guy that I had 20 years, and then the thing actually comes up for sale, and you can marry the two together to do this.
The thing I love about Tom's preservation work is he doesn't make it look brand new. You don't feel like there's been such a sheen put over it. You can't see the original piece in there. You still get all of that handwork, and it still tells the story of its lifetime post the film.
Yeah, and I think that's imperative. I mean, that's a key consideration when anybody's looking at whether or not they should get something restored, whether they should have it displayed. It's always this consideration for what's come before you. You know, what are we actually doing here? It's sympathetic. Everything's got to be really considered and sympathetic to the original form, so that you just don't redress it and create something completely new.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a sort of a tipping point where so much is gone that it's either you're rebuilding it and it's almost from scratch, or you are just allowing it to become what it becomes. You look at the King Kong Peter Jackson armature. You know, ultimately at some point that would have been breaking down over the years, and somebody's made the decision and said, it's gone so far now, actually the artifact is what remains today, isn't it? Not rebuilding around it. So sometimes there's decisions like that to be made, which are tough.
Totally amazing. This is such an iconic piece. I've been saying that about every piece at this auction. But I mean, just to walk in and see this character, again, there is so much humanity in this, and that is one of the main things that Freeborn brought to every character he built.
Yes, yeah, and of course he's part of Yoda, isn't he? There's all these stories about Yoda as a mix of Einstein and Freeborn, and actually when you see the photo of him holding it up,
it's more Freeborn than Einstein.
I think you're right. But yeah, no, you're right, and also the scale of this thing, it's so impressive. You know, to have a creature of this sort of scale as well, it's sort of, you know, immediately as you walk through the door, as you say, you know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah, and one of the first time I learned of Tom Spina's work, it was because Rick Baker sent me a picture of a restored American Werewolf in London transformation head. And when Rick says, "Holy cow, did you see this?" I think, I don't need to know any more about that shop, right?
Yeah, no, it's an incredible place. Yeah, and those guys are second to none. The work that they do, and also they have this high regard and respect for everything that's come before as well.
Yeah, they're geeks.
They've got a love for it. Yeah, no, exactly. Okay, they're the geeks. Yeah.
So the auction's happening right now. Is that
yes,
right?
it's live online right now. You can bid. It streams on the day for all 4 days, November 3rd to November 6th. So you can sit in your comfy chair and watch all the action, and just hit that bid button when the TaunTaun comes up, and you want it for your home cinema.
Maybe the next collector can add a button that will make the TaunTaun sound, or they can hire Bill Hader to do some TaunTaun sounds for them. I like that idea. Next collector, if you want a button in here, we can hook you up. Thank you, Stephen.
It's a pleasure, man.